This is my Nan Gleeson's shortcake. It's beautiful with some warm jam and very soft cake. Delicious. Nan Gleeson's shortcake, my Nan, is a favourite in my extended family. It's delicious, it's got the jam, fantastic, easy to make. So what do you need to do it? First of all, the flour, 240 grams of flour. We're also going to need 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt, this is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 210 grams of sugar. I'm using caster sugar, so long as you use a fine sugar, something that's not too coarse, should be good for cooking. Butter, we have 125 grams of butter. Then we've got a nice jam. I'm going with a strawberry jam this time, but you can use raspberry or some other jam of your choice. You're going to be needing 1/2 cup of jam. And we're going to be warming them up a little bit later on so that it spreads nice and easily. Optionally, you can add a bit of coconut. I've got 2 tablespoons of coconut here, and you can put as little or as much as you like. 1 egg is also required. So let's get cooking. Start by preheating your oven. I'm not going to be using the fan assist option this time. I'm going to be baking it without the fan. Then place it down to 180 degrees to warm up. To begin, I've melted my butter and I'm going to be adding it into a large bowl. To that, I'm going to be adding in the sugar and I'll also be adding in the egg. And we're going to be beating it all together using a metal whisk. Into our butter, egg and sugar mixture, we're going to be sifting in our flour as well as our baking powder. Now add in your pinch of salt and, if desired, a little bit of coconut and just bring it together. You can use a wooden spoon. I'm going to continue using my whisk and just going to stir it to combine. You'll know it's ready when it takes on this doughy, thick cake mixture consistency. For this next step, we have 3 different things. First of all, we have our baking tray. This one would be one which is very easy and good to use for slices. I've greased it and also lined it with some parchment paper or baking paper. We've also got our cake dough, our cake mix, which we just made earlier. Again, don't worry if it's a bit thick. It is supposed to be a bit thick. And thirdly, we also have our jam. Now I've warmed this up in the microwave just to make it easier to spread. So what we'll be doing is putting 1/2 of our cake batter, our cake mixture, into our baking dish. We're then going to be spreading the jam in as a layer and then finishing it off with the rest of the cake batter. I'm going to divide up about 1/2 of our cake batter. Using a spatula, I'm going to spread it evenly onto the bottom. A little trick to making sure that you get an even top layer on your cake is to use 2 sheets of baking paper, and in between them place your batter. So spread it out a bit, place the top layer on and spread it with your fingers. You can check with your baking dish to see if it's around the right size. Just straighten it up a bit, trying to remove any bubbles and making sure that the jam stays between the 2 layers. Before baking, you can press in some nuts, cherries, fruits to the top, but we're just going to be cooking this one basic. We're going to be adding it into the oven until golden brown on top. After about 35 to 40 minutes in the oven, this shortcake is done. Now I did manage to get a crack through the middle whilst I was taking it out, but that's fine, it'll taste beautiful. I've also let it rest for about 15 minutes before I'm about to chop it up, and I'm just going to be dressing it with a bit of icing sugar. There you go, there's Nan Gleeson's shortcake. I think it's going to be delicious with that beautiful gooey jam in there. That's phenomenal. Fantastic recipe, Nan. I really hope that you give this one a go. It's really easy. Make sure if you do, check out the description below, the full recipes there. Subscribe if you like, and most importantly, just cook this one up.